Our vehicles are our pride and joy. Not only that, but for most of us, they are the second biggest investment we will make. Protecting that investment should be high on our priority list. Preventative maintenance is important to keep your car or truck safe. With proper care, your vehicle will last longer, and some of the possible problems can be avoided. A well-maintained vehicle is not only safer, it's also more economical and produces less pollutants, and you can expect a higher resale value when you decide to sell it.
The best way to preserve the life of your car is obviously maintenance is the key. Changing your oil, keeping your fuel system clean, I mean, it's all the lifeblood of the engine.
While nothing lasts forever and any vehicle could have problems, some will last longer than others for a variety of reasons. But lack of proper maintenance, especially on your vehicle's engine, is almost a guarantee that it will break down. A clean engine lasts longer and is more efficient.
The effects of a dirty engine are carbon buildup, less fuel economy, and a greatly decreased life in the engine.
Using certain fuels with higher octane or fuel and oil additives are often recommended to increase gas mileage and engine performance.
Most of your average vehicles now are designed to run at 87 octane. The higher the octane, the slower the fuel actually burns. So you have an incomplete combustion, which will add carbon buildup.
One of the biggest enemies to engine performance and efficiency is carbon buildup.
The effects of carbon buildup are a reduced engine performance, lower fuel economy, and ultimately premature engine wear.
zMax is a revolutionary product that is billed as a micro-lubricant. It is not an additive, but rather a lubricant that actually soaks into the metal, providing continuous lubrication of your engine's internal parts.
The difference between an additive and zMax is that zMax is a pure micro-lubricant, and it is designed to use the engine oil and the fuel system to carry the product to the metal parts inside the engine. An additive, by definition, changes the characteristics, makeup of an oil, which car manufacturers really don't want you messing with the oil chemistry. And the big benefit of zMax, it does not change the makeup of the lubricant that you use in your car.
zMax it treats the internal components, it uses the oil to carry it into the internal components, soaks into the metal, keeps the internal components clean, which the end result will be cleaner emissions coming out of the tailpipe as well, because you're having a cleaner combustion chamber.
To extend the life of your vehicle and keep it running more efficiently, it's important to keep the engine operating at peak performance.
You do that by keeping the parts clean, keeping the pistons free of carbon, the valves free of carbon, the compression at its peak. And when you have good compression, you have good power, you have less emissions, and good power equates to better performance is certainly better gas mileage, and lower emissions is certainly something we're all trying to do right now. So if your engine's not dirty, you're not polluting.
Obviously, the zMax treatment will help cut down on the deposits if you use it every 6 months, 6,000 miles. It'll keep the internal components cleaner. The oil will have a better effect on lubrication with zMax in there.
With more than 60 years of history, the Speedway Cocktail, as it was originally called, was developed by Joe Lenke, Indy race engine and chassis design engineer and car owner. In 1936, this cocktail was under development for use in engines for the Indy 500. While disassembling race engines for inspection, Lenke found that certain internal parts were scuffed due to lack of proper lubrication, especially upon startup. Lenke's Speedway Cocktail solved his internal lubrication problems and created a whole new category of lubrication.
zMax, when you put it in your oil system and in your fuel system, it uses those fluids to get to the metal parts inside the engine where it soaks into the metal. In the hot and cold cycles of startup and the shutdown of the engine, it actually will soak into the metal parts deeper than an oil molecule can do. And when it does that, it gets underneath the carbon, disperses the carbon, and particularly on the piston rings and the top of the pistons and the valves, places where the combustion chamber sealing is really critical for good compression and power. It keeps those parts clean so that the compression is good on the engine. You get good compression, you get better mileage, better performance you can feel.
Today, the zMax formula is used in hundreds of thousands of automobiles, trucks, motorcycles, off-highway vehicles, and airplanes. It is endorsed by such automotive legends as Carroll Shelby.
Let's say you've got an engine, a car or a truck that you've beat on. It's got miles on it, it's got a lot of wear, it's got a lot of gunk, and your pistons look like this. Well, the zMax product can actually bring it back to life, give it a second life. We got a little demonstration that's going to show you how it works.
Bruno, what we do is we, again, take a hot plate at 190 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the average temperature of the oil in the engine. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some zMax, and we're going to put a drop of zMax onto this dish. Then what we have is we have some deposits taken right out of an engine rocker box area.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is put some of these deposits right inside this zMax here.
That looks like it came from a nasty looking engine.
Exactly. And what we're going to do is zMax is allowed to make its performance claims by its ability to dissolve and disperse carbon.
Okay.
And basically what you're seeing here now is the same thing you'll see in this engine. When zMax is used, the zMax will dissolve and disperse the carbon in very, very fine pieces. And that'll blow out the engine exhaust.
Oh, you can really see how that's breaking that down.
Exactly. What it's doing is its microlubricating qualities is actually soaking into that carbon, breaking it up into many small pieces.
zMax has been really testing for a long time. The product is 60 years old. Started out as Speedway cocktail using Indianapolis race engines, and then developed in through aviation and a lot of racing. And then we went through an extensive battery of tests that were scientific tests that we used to prove to the FTC that the product works. And we were very successful in that endeavor. And they don't just accept a letter from someone saying, well, I got better mileage, or gee, I felt like I got better performance. You have to do scientific testing in order to prove that it soaks into the metal and that it disperses carbon, and those are the two principles that really make it work well.
All right, Ed, we've got a little science project set up over here to show the folks at home how zMax actually goes ahead and penetrates into the metal. Explain to us what's going on.
Okay, Bruno. We have a hot plate. We have cast iron blocks that we heat up to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. That simulates the average temperature of the metal in the engine.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a dropper with some zMax into it, and we're going to place one drop of zMax into the middle of this cast iron block. This product will now begin soaking into the metal. zMax will soak into the metal with its microlubricating qualities, and it actually will start spreading out of the hole across the metal surface, and that's called microlubrication. That's how zMax works in your engine, in your pistons, your cylinder walls, your bearings, camshafts, lifters, etc.
zMax is manufactured by Charlotte-based Oil-Chem Research, a subsidiary of Speedway Motorsports, and is available to treat engines, fuel systems, and transmissions.
The biggest difference is in the oil itself. When you drain it, it's very black, very dirty. The oil is naturally meant to carry deposits through the engine and clean it. As carbon deposits build up, the oil doesn't have a natural cleaning agent in it. If you can reduce the carbon buildup, the friction inside the engine, which is what zMax does, the oil coming out with a zMax treated vehicle will be a lot cleaner.
zMax is performance you can feel. To learn more, visit zmax.com.